All right, thanks everyone. Pat Cummins, Australian captain, here ahead of this fifth and final test match here in Sydney. Again, I probably won't get to everyone, but we'll try to get as
batting is also struggling a bit. Late recovery is the main reason because Indian batting is struggling like that.
Yes. Sorry, was there a question there? Sorry.
Even Aussie batting is struggling a bit. Do you think so?
Yeah. Oh, I think no doubt. There's times where we would have liked to score some more runs. That last game in Melbourne, would have liked to push that lead out to 400, 500, being in such a good position. But that's Test cricket. I think at times both teams bowled really well, made it really hard for the opposition batters. But yeah, I was second innings didn't work out last week, but I thought to get 450 or 470 that first innings was pretty impressive from our boys. Yes, yeah, one change. Marshy misses out, and Bo Webster's debuting. Yeah, Bo's been in the squad for a few tests now. Mitchie obviously hasn't quite got the runs or perhaps wickets that he would have liked this series. So felt like it was time for a freshen up. And Bo's been with the squad; he's been great. So it's a shame for Mitchie because we know how much he brings to the team, but I feel like now's a good week for Bo to get a chance.
Pat, it's obviously a tough conversation to have with Mitch as well. How did you take the news and what did you say about it?
He totally understanding. I think his words were, didn't not necessarily blindsided. He knows he hasn't scored the runs or wickets that he would have liked, so that makes you vulnerable. Really excited for Bo. That's he's first thing he said. I can't wait to see Bo go out there and give it a crack. I think particularly here in Australia, I think when a batter misses out or gets dropped, it's always seen as a big thing, but it's not the case. The way that Ronnie and the selectors and myself look at it is we love pulling a squad of players together who we think we can call on at different times, and we thought the time was right for Mitchie to have a freshen up and miss this one, but it doesn't mean that he won't be back in that team at some point.
Just on Bo, how much of it has to do with the bowling option and you wanting that bowler to bowl more overs, and what does he offer to you, with both this medium pace and his spin?
Yeah, that was definitely a factor. Short turnaround. I think it's always nice to have kind of a fifth bowler that perhaps he bowls quite a lot for Tasmania, so if we need to call on that, we can. I think firstly, if you're going to bat six, you picked for your batting, which I think he's shown in Shield over the last couple of years when he takes the game on, and he's really changed some games for Tasmania. But I'll sit down and work that out today. But I think particularly that pace bowling's always going to be handy, and we've got obviously Nath, but also Trav with some handy offies when needed.
So in terms of the Mitch, are you going to need him to bowl more in future? Should he come back in, relative to what he's been able to do this series? Is that a broader conversation?
Not necessarily. We've spoken about it a lot. He was in the side this summer for being a top six batter. So that's generally a guiding principle when you pick in the top order, not always. I think when he's at his best, he gets in the side on his batting alone, and his bowling's a bonus. Obviously, got guys like Cam Green who will be back in the mix at some point as well, who provide some other bowling options. So no, not necessarily.
Pat, yourself and Mitch Starc have bowled a lot of overs in this entire tour. As pace bowling duo, what has been your routine off the field when you're recovering, the recovery process? If you can take us through that.
Yeah, it's I think it probably starts before the series, to be honest. I was lucky I had a really good lead in, so physically I feel as good as I have for years. That really, that opportunity's set me up really well, and I think Starc is the same. Always kind of carrying something, but we both started the series in pretty good shape. In between tests, it's not much, to be honest. We're maybe walk a few laps, get a massage, jump in, an ice bath or something. But we save all our overs really for the game.
What do you make of the pitch, and will it assist the spinners towards the end of the test match? Just give us a lowdown.
It's a tough one to know exactly. It's a little bit different to kind of the traditional SCG. I think 2 Shield wickets this year seemed like they played really well. Teams were really happy with the cricket wicket. Felt like there was a bit on offer for the for the bowlers, but also runs to be scored. So, looks pretty good. No doubt there'll be some stages where it's pretty good batting, but potentially break up and spin towards the end. Kind of, you never really know. Weather plays a little bit of a part sometimes here as well. So, I've played, a few test matches here, but outside of that, 1 days and stuff. So I'm no expert.
I just want to ask that, we have seen Sam playing in a different way in Shield games also. He was defensively really well as far as, defending. But in Melbourne, we saw him doing a kind of batting. Is there anything communicated by you guys? Because he has that other game also who defended really well. But there he was just playing a different game altogether. So is there a message to Sam from this show? Just go hard and go aggressive?
I think he showed how adaptable he can be. That takes a lot of skill, first of all. But we always encourage our players just to read the moment, play it how they see fit. So for Sam, he sensed the moment was to attack and put pressure back onto the bowlers, and he did that. It might be different this week. It might be, I'm going to play a slow game and kind of score your runs that way. So our message is always just to back yourself, have really clear plans, and back your decision making.
But do you think that Australians are a little bit related to getting into this test match, because the pressure is on India to do all the reading, because if they want to square the series, now you guys will be fine with it, even a draw is sufficient for you to win the series.
I mean, it's always the preferred position, but you go into every test match trying to win, so it's no doubt no different this week. But again, really happy with the last 3 test matches, how the boys have played. We've shown that. For most of it, we've kind of been the front runner, and that's kind of the aim again this week is keep it up.
And the last 2 years, the surfaces have changed. Therefore, you don't get those big first innings score. Just not as a fast bowler, but only your captain. How do you do that?
I think this venue can be a little bit different, but I think traditionally you turn up, you bat no matter what. I think you're seeing more and more teams happy to bowl if they see a bit of grass on day 1. You're not as worried about the back end day 4 or 5, because a lot of the games are happening a bit quicker. So a lot of the time you're turning up and wondering if you're going to take 10 wickets on that day, and if you think you are, you kind of play what's in front of you. I think it's a little bit different to what it has been, even me growing up. But you still get test matches like last week, which are go the full 5 days, and kind of that more traditional slow burn, which I think is just as enjoyable.
Hi, Pat. Happy New Year from Mumbai. You are one of the batsmen from Aussies who is seen assured against Bumrah. So have you put some extra efforts to face him, or the IPL has helped you?
I mean, last game it helped that I was at the non-strikers end. that certainly helped. He's there's no doubt he's bowling well at the moment. He's always tough. Hopefully by the time I come in, he's well into his late in the day, and he's bowled a fair bit, which makes it a little bit easier for me. But he's bowled well, so I've faced him quite a bit across the world in different formats, and but always poses a challenge.
A few more. Finish up the game. Just 2 points. One, the late series 2-1 shaped the way you play the game, and of course when you might at all try to look first and win. Secondly, should Bo has been around domestic cricket for a long time, but how much have you had to do with him over the years, and what's it like as a guy?
First of all, no, you're going thinking only about the win. Obviously, if the wicket or the weather or anything takes you in a different direction, then maybe, but that's really it's day 4, day 5 before you even consider anything like that. yeah, Bo, I haven't had a lot to do with Bo leading to this series. He joined the squad, I think it was after the first test. He's just been one of those star performers for Tasmania with a bat or bowler or in the field. He always seems to have a big impact. Quite aggressive, can change the game like we've seen, Mitch Marsh or Trav Head or Alex Carey do in that middle order. And he's been great personality around the squad. Even day 5 there in Melbourne, he's itching to get on the field. So yeah, it's going to be awesome to see him debut. Really love what he's brought to the squad so far.
Obviously, had a couple of meetings in Melbourne. India had counter captain, great captain. They're obviously been quite demonstrative on the field. Like, what's been your perspective on that when India's been in the field? Has it felt like they've had more than one?
Don't know. It's probably not for me to kind of judge on. I'm in my own little bubble, so I haven't noticed anything different from watching on TV or being out in the middle, really.
No, we'll go back over here, Benny. There's been a few waiting, so we're going to finish up and then we'll...
You spoke after the Melbourne test about your Starc him playing his test. I was just wondering, you've played with him for a long time. He's closing in on 100 tests, 400 wickets. Like, what's his greatest attribute as a bowler, and how have you seen him sort of evolve from when you were a young player to?
Yeah, I'd say, personality-wise, just his resilience. He's bowled 145 kilometres for 15 years now, it seems like, and a lot of overs. And you just don't do that without always dealing with different niggles or setbacks. And he just grits his teeth and gets on with it. He's the one player who just refuses ever to talk about being rested or rotated. He just wants to go out there and play for Australia, even if he's had some quiet games in the past and people are out to get him or whatever. He's still just he just wants to turn up and play. So I just have huge admiration for him from that point of view. As a bowler, I think he's adapted a lot. Particularly in the last, say, 5 years, he's now got a wobble seam. He uses his bounces quite well. It's not just that get it full, try and swing and hit a front pad. He's got a lot of different strengths. He comes around the wicket to right-handers. So I think he's just really proactive. He knows his skill sets really well, and he's an absolute dream as a captain because you feel like you've got 5 different bowlers in one.
Sorry, so you did have to hand up earlier, yes.
I want to ask about your batting. A couple of years back, you had publicly said that the call between the T20 and the test ongoing. So what did you do to change? And just now, you did a great knock in Ashes, the World Cup semi-final in India, and here, of course. So how important is batting for Pat Cummins, the captain?
Yeah, it's something I've always put a lot of effort into. Be first to admit you never quite know what you're going to get with my batting. I think for a while there I was so worried about being like perfect and not getting out that in some ways you're kind of batting with your hands tied behind your back. Nowadays I try not to overthink it. Just try and think about scoring areas, playing good shots, not worrying about consequences too much. Just remember batting's about scoring runs, and however ugly it looks, just try and get a few runs basically.
Just start with Mitch Starc. Like you said, he's the kind of guy who never wants to take a rest. But was there any consideration here, given he's carrying something and wants to make it a pretty important role there?
Yeah, you always consider. He went off for a scan yesterday. But got the all clear to play this match. So there's always considerations. But he's it's a big game in the context of series, World Test Championship. It's a home game, so. He was never going to miss this one unless he absolutely had to.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.